In this lesson today, I will look at writing. If you remember, before everything happened, we looked at describing trends, the first part. Now I look at the second part. Okay, this is quite a large file, so I have actually had to divide it into two parts in order to load it up onto Dia. Describing trends. What we're doing now is we're looking at the movement of the line in a trend. We have several adverbs here: quickly, gradually, steadily. We need to match them to the adverb and the description. We look at quickly first. Quickly means a rapid change. Gradually refers to a constant, regular change, something that's steady. Steadily is slow, step by step. Same idea here. In this case, I'm talking about amount, not how the line changed, but the amount it changes. The first one we have is significantly. If we say the graph increased significantly, then what I mean is it is a large change. Sharply refers to a sudden change. Sharp refers to a point, maybe the point of a needle, an angle, that is sharp. And then obviously slightly refers to a small change. Here we have a phrase referring to an upward movement. I'd like you to take a couple of seconds and decide which of the 6 descriptions refers to upward movement. Those referring to upward movement are: sales grew slowly, we saw a steady improvement in our brand image, our profits rose sharply, there was a slight growth in inflation. Brand image is how your brand is perceived by the public, the people buying your clothes, for example, or car, etc., etc. Same list of descriptions, in this case describing a downward movement. I think this one should be slightly easier, as you've already discovered the upward movements. They are: we had a considerable decrease in our market share, unemployment fell significantly. Market share is the percentage of the market for your company, how much you sell into the market. Unemployment, disoccupazione. Same phrases here, same descriptions. In this case, find those referring to a small change, a small movement, In this case, we have sales grew slowly. There was a slight growth in inflation. In this case, a large or medium movement. Here we saw a steady improvement in our brand image. We had we had a considerable decrease in our market share. Our profits rose sharply. Unemployment fell significantly. In this case, we're looking for a verb and an adverb structure. We have 3 cases here. Sales grew slowly. Profits rose sharply. Unemployment fell significantly. A verb plus a noun structure in this case. We saw a steady improvement in our brand image. We had a considerable decrease in our market share. There was a slight growth in inflation. There are many verbs and nouns to describe upward movements. Here are just some of them. We have to go up, verbs: to go up, to improve, to rise, to increase. Nouns can be growth, improvement, rise, increase. Downward movement. Some verbs include go down, fall, or decrease. Nouns include collapse, fall, and decrease. constant movement, meaning it remains steady, it doesn't change. Verbs can include to be stable, to stay the same, to remain constant. A noun could be there was no change. Okay, this part now we have several very simple graphs, and we simply need to match the description to the graph. In the first case here, we have a horizontal line. We would describe this as to stay the same. We have a line here with an upward trajectory. In this case, I would say to increase. The opposite, I would say to fall. In this situation, we have a line going between 2 points. I would describe this as to be above or below 2 points in the graph. Here we have a line which is climbing and then leveling off. I would say in this case it has reached a peak è la cima. Similar line, but in this case it's now going down. In this case I would describe it as to drop back, meaning it has reached a high point and now is starting to fall again. Here we have a downward trend going from a high point down to a lower point. In this case I would say to hit a low, meaning to hit the lowest point. Similar line, but here the line now has started to go up again. In this case I would say to recover, meaning it has dropped from a high point, reached a low point, and now it's starting to increase again. In this case we have a very wiggly line. In this case I would say it has fluctuated, meaning it has moved up and down, and then it's leveled off. It's become steady, there's no more fluctuation or change. In this case, we have a line which has gone up rapidly and then fluctuates at a high level. In this case, I would say it remains high. You could say the opposite. If it goes down in a similar way, you could say to remain low. In this case here, I have a step-like graph. In this case, I would say to stand at. We often use this perhaps when we're talking about exchange rates or the price of petrol, for example. I would say today the price of petrol stands at €1.35, for example. Okay, that finishes the first part of describing trends. Thank you.